Hello, artists. Let's talk about part 4 of your squash book. So we have our origami folded paper. We have our 3-inch squares that we cut. You need a glue stick and some scissors. So we're decorating the inside of our squash book. So I'm going to start by opening mine up. Maybe. There we go. And flattening it out a little bit. It's going to be important to do that because I'm going to put a couple things I have on top of it, because we want to sort of get an idea of how we're going to arrange our pieces inside of our squash book. So now I am going to just start to kind of lay these pieces together. Now there's some spots where you're going to maybe be able to connect things together, meaning like if I see some purple over here, I might be able to also fit, oh, there's some purple right here. Like you can kind of make this work. You can make it make sense like a puzzle. Or if I find the other half of this circle, oh, I can fit that together. I kind of like having some of those pieces that make sense. So that one doesn't quite make sense. Let's see if I can find the other half of that guy. So it doesn't have to all perfectly flow together because we are going to add other elements to this, but it is kind of fun to try at least to do some parts that come together, and it's going to help everything feel more unified and tied together in the end. So I am putting these pieces on all of these triangles. So let's see, how many are there? 4 plus 2 plus 4, so 10. So we're going to have 2 extra pieces. So whatever pieces you're like, oh yeah, that just didn't really work in my planning, you can just not use. Or I guess you could put that on the cover if you like to do that. But so I'm going to play around with this a little bit, and then once you have a composition or an arrangement that you really like, then we can start to glue these pieces down. Now, you're going to be doing 2 different things to glue these down. So I want to show you first what you're going to do if you're going to glue it on this flat side. I'm going to try to wiggle this without shaking up too much of my design. So I'm going to apply glue to the piece. I think it's easier to put glue on the back of the cut paper versus the origami. So then this is important that we make this fit sort of exactly on those creases. If it's a little big, you can always trim it. Trimming it would be better than having overhang because that's going to affect the whole design, right? So now I just secured that down, and now I want to add this piece up here. But you'll notice there's a bend right here. So I think it's helpful to fold your your square into a triangle. So fold on the diagonal in half, how it's going to be placed into the book. Now, you could cut on that line, but I just like to make the fold first because it gives me, it helps my book come back together easier. So I'm going to fold it. I'm not going to cut it. You could cut on that line and glue 2 pieces instead of 1, but I'm just going to do 1, and I'll apply some glue and sort of fit that all back in together. It's really important to try to make sure it really fits together because we want this to close again in the end, right? So I'm going to keep repeating this step of gluing in the rest of my pieces, and that's how we'll finish step number 4. All right, artists, I want to show you what I came up with for my kind of finished step 4. Something that you're going to want to do, first of all, make sure all these ends are really like secured well. The other thing you're going to want to do is recrease your mountain and valley folds. So those already exist. We just are kind of reinforcing them into their correct direction so that we can close our book up. I think maybe I actually just did this one backwards. I'll have to see. So I'm going to start on this side to make sure it all closes. And then if I made a mistake, we'll just have to redo it. So my side closes in. It looks like maybe I made a mistake with this one because I want these 2 to come together, and it's a valley fold right now. So I'm going to instead switch it to a mountain fold. So all I did was fold it the other direction so it's up towards me. And then to compress this book together, I'm going to bring the 2 folds together. Now let's see if I can get this one going the other way. So my mistake was that I had the two outside edges going up when really I needed them to go down. So see how right now this is coming up? I made a mistake. That needs to go the other direction. So these pieces will go back, and it'll all collapse together. Let's just show it before I push it all in again. This one is going to go back, this one's going to go up, and this one's also going to go back. So I'm going to start at one side and work it together and continue to make sure everything's really collapsed. And then talk about our next step.